Hello, and welcome to English in Fluency, the absolute best place for you to improve your listening skills and learn to speak with total confidence. I am your host, Alex, and I am so happy that you have decided to join me today for this special lesson. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone is speaking to you in English, giving you a list of things to do, and you understand the words individually, but you just cannot seem to put them all together? Maybe you are in a classroom and the teacher says, "Open your book to page 20, read the first paragraph, and then write the answers in your notebook." But by the time she says, "Write," you have already forgotten the page number. Or perhaps you are at work, and your boss gives you a complex task to finish by the end of the day, and you feel too nervous to ask them to repeat it. It is a very common feeling, and today we are going to fix that problem once and for all. Our topic for this session is B1 English Listening Practice, specifically focusing on how to follow instructions, understand steps, and see actions clearly. By the end of this script, you will not just hear the words, you will visualize exactly what to do, step by step, without getting lost. Are you ready to jump in and take your English fluency to the next level? Let's get started. To help us practice this skill, I want to take you on a little journey to a fictional place called Maplewood Community Center. It is a busy Saturday morning, and the center is hosting a special event called the Life Skills Workshop. We have three main characters who are attending this workshop to learn how to do new things. Their names are Ethan, Sophie, and Liam. Ethan is a young university student who is very energetic but a little bit disorganized. Sophie is an architect who pays attention to small details, but sometimes thinks too much. Liam is a retired carpenter who is patient and practical. They are attending different sessions today, and we are going to follow them to see how they listen to instructions and how they handle the tasks they are given. Listening to their stories will help us understand the grammar and vocabulary of instructions in a real, human-like way. First, let us join Ethan in the technology room. Ethan wants to learn how to set up a new computer because he just started an online course. The instructor in this room is a woman named Sarah. Sarah is very clear and speaks slowly, which is perfect for B1 learners. Ethan is sitting at a large desk with a brown cardboard box in front of him. Inside the box are parts of a computer. Sarah walks to the front of the room and claps her hands to get everyone's attention. She smiles and begins to speak. Listen carefully to how she organizes her instructions. Sarah says, "Good morning, class. Today we are going to set up your new laptops. Please do not touch anything yet. Just listen. First, take the laptop out of the box and place it gently on the desk in front of you. Make sure the logo is facing away from you. Second, open the lid so the screen is facing you. Third, find the power button, which is located on the right side of the keyboard, and press it down for 3 seconds. Wait for the screen to light up. Did you notice how Sarah used specific words to organize the steps? She said first, second, and third. These are called sequencing words, and they are your best friends when you are listening to instructions. They act like signposts that tell you where you are in the process. Ethan heard the word first and immediately knew it was time to take the laptop out. He placed it on the desk. Then he waited. He did not open the lid because he knew he had to wait for the second step. This is the secret to following instructions. You must be patient and do one thing at a time. If Ethan had opened the lid before placing the laptop down, he might have dropped it or put it in the wrong position. Now, Sarah continues with the next part of her lesson. She looks at Ethan and the other students and says, "Now that the computer is on, look at the screen. Do you see the setup wizard? Follow these steps exactly. Choose your language from the list. Click on English. Then, connect to the Wi-Fi network named Maplewood Guest. Type in the password, which is written on the whiteboard behind me. The password is Learning 2024. After you type the password, press the Enter key. Here, Sarah uses the imperative form of the verb. She says, choose, click, connect, type, and press. When we give instructions in English, we usually start the sentence with the verb. We do not say, you choose your language. We simply say, choose your language. It is shorter and more direct. As you listen, your brain needs to catch these verbs quickly because they tell you the action. Ethan hears the word type, and he knows he needs to use the keyboard. He hears the word click, and he knows he needs to use the mouse or touchpad. If you train your ear to listen for these action words at the beginning of the sentence, you will understand the instruction much faster. Ethan is doing well so far. He has connected to the internet, but suddenly he looks confused. He raises his hand. Sarah walks over to him. Ethan says, "I am sorry. I missed the last step. What do I do after I press Enter?" Sarah smiles and repeats, "Look for the button that says Next and click on it to continue." This is a very important moment. Even advanced speakers sometimes miss a step because they get distracted or they worry about making a mistake. Ethan was brave enough to ask for repetition. In real life, if you are listening to instructions and you get lost, you should always say, "Could you please repeat that?" Or "I missed the last step. Could you say it again?" It is better to ask than to do the wrong thing. Sarah repeats the instructions slowly, and Ethan finds the next button. He clicks it, and his computer is finally set up. He feels a sense of accomplishment. He realized that listening for the sequence words and the action verbs helped him succeed. Now, let us leave the technology room and walk across the hallway to the art studio. This is where Sophie is. Sophie loves drawing, but today she is learning something new. She is learning how to make a ceramic vase on a potter's wheel. This is a physical task that requires listening to directions about body movements and materials. The art instructor is a man named David. David is very artistic and speaks with a lot of description. Sophie is sitting at a wheel with a lump of wet clay in front of her. Her hands are slightly shaking because she is nervous. David stands in the middle of the room and gives the first set of instructions. He says, "Everyone, please wet your hands first. Dip them in the bucket of water next to your wheel. Then, place your wet hands on the sides of the clay. Do not press too hard. Gently squeeze the clay as the wheel spins. Make sure your elbows are tucked into your hips so your hands are steady." This instruction is a bit more complex because it involves body position and physical sensation. Words like wet, dip, place, squeeze, and tucked are all important here. Sophie dips her hands in the water. She feels the cold water on her skin. She places her hands on the clay. She remembers David said gently, "Squeeze," so she does not push too hard. She tucks her elbows into her hips. She can feel the clay spinning under her fingers. It feels smooth and cool. David continues to walk around the room. He sees that Sophie is doing well, so he gives the next step. He says, "Now, Sophie, listen to this. Both of your thumbs should meet in the center of the clay. Push down slowly to create a hole in the middle. This hole will be the inside of your vase. Push down until your thumb is about 1 centimeter from the bottom of the clay, but do not go all the way through. If you go through the bottom, the vase will leak." Here, David uses specific measurements and warnings. He says 1 centimeter and do not go all the way through. This is negative instruction. He is telling her what not to do. Sophie listens very carefully. She puts her thumbs together. She pushes down. She can feel the clay opening up. She is visualizing the shape of the vase in her mind. She remembers the warning about the bottom, so she slows down as her thumb gets deeper. She stops just in time. She has made a perfect hole. David nods and says, "Excellent job, Sophie. Now, take your left hand and place it on the outside of the clay wall. Take your right hand and place it inside the wall. Move your hands together in an upward motion. This will stretch the clay and make the vase taller. Move slowly. If you move too fast, the clay will wobble and fall." Sophie focuses on the words upward motion and moves slowly. She moves her hands up together. She can feel the clay growing taller. It is like magic. She realizes that following these instructions is like a dance. The words tell her where to put her body and how to move. She feels proud that she can understand and create something beautiful at the same time. This teaches us that instructions are not just about orders. They are about guidance and helping someone achieve a result. When you listen to instructions in English, try to imagine the feeling of the action. If someone says, "Stir the soup," imagine the spoon moving in the circle. If someone says, "Turn the key," imagine the feeling of the key in your hand. Connecting the word to the feeling will help you remember the step. After Sophie finishes her vase, we move outside to the community garden. This is where we find Liam. Liam is the practical one, but today he is learning about navigation. He is participating in a scavenger hunt designed to improve listening and orientation skills. The garden is large and maze-like, with many flowers, trees, and paths. There are signs everywhere, but they are written in riddles. Liam is standing at the entrance gate. He has a pair of headphones on, and he is listening to a pre-recorded audio guide that will give him directions to the hidden treasure. The audio guide starts with a friendly voice. The voice says, "Welcome to the Maplewood Gardens scavenger hunt. To find the golden trophy, you must follow my voice precisely. Do not take any shortcuts. Stand facing the fountain. Turn 90 degrees to your right. Walk forward until you see a large red rose bush on your left." Liam takes a deep breath of the fresh air. He faces the fountain. The water is splashing. He turns 90 degrees to his right. Now he is facing a gravel path. He walks forward. He counts his steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. He looks to his left. There it is, a large red rose bush. He is on the right track. He feels excited. The voice continues. "Good. Now, stop at the rose bush. Look for the small stone path that goes between the bushes. It is hidden, so look closely. Step onto the stone path and follow it. It will curve to the left and then to the right. Walk slowly because the stones are uneven. At the end of the stone path, you will see a bench under an oak tree. Sit on the bench and look up." Liam squints his eyes. He sees the small gap in the bushes. He finds the stone path. He steps carefully because the voice warned him the stones are uneven. He listens to the sound of the gravel crunching under his boots. The path curves left, then right. It is a bit tricky, but he trusts the instructions. He reaches the end of the path and sees the wooden bench under the giant oak tree. He sits down. He looks up. The voice says, "Above you, hanging from the lowest branch of the oak tree, there is a small silver box. Reach up and untie the blue ribbon. Take the box down. Open it to find your next clue." Liam reaches up. He unties the blue ribbon. He holds the small silver box in his hand. He feels successful. He realizes that the instructions were very spatial. They used words like facing, turn, forward, left, between, under, and above. These are prepositions of place and direction. To follow the audio guide, Liam had to understand the relationship between himself and the objects around him. If he had confused left and right, he would have walked the wrong way. If he had missed the word under, he might have looked for the box in the tree trunk instead of hanging from it. This type of listening is very active. You have to build a 3D map in your mind. You have to be the navigator. Now that we have seen how Ethan, Sophie, and Liam handled their tasks, let us take a moment to review what we have learned so far. We saw Ethan using technology. He learned to listen for sequence words like first, second, and next, and action verbs like click, press, and type. We saw Sophie making art. She learned to listen for descriptive words and physical actions like wet your hands, squeeze gently, and move upward. She also learned to listen to warnings. We saw Liam in the garden. He learned to follow spatial directions using prepositions like right, left, under, and above. All of them had to visualize the instructions to succeed. They did not just hear words, they saw pictures in their minds. I want you to try this visualization technique right now with me. I am going to give you a set of instructions for a simple task that you can do in your mind. Or you can actually do it if you are sitting down. I want you to listen carefully. Do not write anything down. Just listen and process the information. Close your eyes for a moment if it helps you to focus. Are you ready? Here we go. Imagine you are holding a bright yellow lemon in your left hand. Take a small knife in your right hand. Carefully cut a slice off the top of the lemon. Now, cut the lemon in half horizontally. Pick up the half of the lemon in your left hand. Squeeze the lemon gently over a glass. Watch the juice fall into the glass. Now, take a teaspoon of sugar and sprinkle it into the glass. Stir the juice and sugar 3 times. Take a sip. How does it taste? Open your eyes. Did you see that lemon in your mind? Did you see the yellow color? Did you feel the knife in your hand? If you could visualize the steps, then your listening comprehension is working perfectly. You understood the sequence of actions. You understood the objects involved. This is the skill we want to develop. It is not just about understanding grammar rules. It is about processing language in real time to complete a goal. Let us try another scenario, this time involving a daily routine that might be very familiar to you. Imagine you are helping a friend cook a simple breakfast. Your friend's name is Mark. Mark is standing in the kitchen, and he is asking you for help. Listen to what Mark says and see if you can keep up with his requests. Mark says, "Hey, can you help me? I need 2 eggs. Please open the fridge door, take the carton of eggs out, and put it on the counter. Then, open the carton and take 2 eggs out carefully. Put them in a small bowl. Next, reach into the cupboard above the sink. Take out the salt and pepper. Place them next to the bowl. Finally, Get a fork from the drawer and lay it next to the plate. Thank you. That was a lot of steps, wasn't it? Let us break it down. Mark asked for 2 eggs. The first location was the fridge. Action. Open door, take carton, put on counter. Second location, the carton. Action. Open, take 2 eggs, put in bowl. Third location, cupboard above sink. Action. Take salt and pepper, place next to bowl. Fourth location, drawer. Action. Get fork, lay next to plate. If you were able to follow that without getting confused between the fridge, the cupboard, and the drawer, you are doing great. The challenge here is remembering the locations. Fridge, counter, cupboard, sink, drawer. These nouns are very important. When you listen to instructions, pay attention to the names of the places and objects. They tell you where to go and what to use. Sometimes, instructions are not just about physical objects. They can be about rules and regulations, like in a library or a swimming pool. Let us practice that. Imagine you have just arrived at a new community swimming pool. You walk to the front desk to buy a ticket. The receptionist gives you the rules for using the pool. Listen to her speech. She says, "Welcome to our pool. Here are the rules you must follow. Before you enter the changing area, please take off your outdoor shoes. Leave them in the shoe rack. You must wear a swimming cap at all times in the water. If you do not have one, you can buy one at the desk. Showers are mandatory before swimming. Please go to the showers. Rinse your body for at least 1 minute, and then you may enter the pool area. Do not run on the wet floor. It is slippery and dangerous. Finally, whistle blows at 55 minutes past every hour for a safety check. When you hear the whistle, please exit the pool immediately. This type of listening is very important for safety and politeness. The language here is more formal. Words like mandatory, prohibited, and immediately might be new to you, but the context helps. Mandatory means you have to do it. Immediately means right now. When you listen to rules, you are often listening for what you must do and what you must not do. The receptionist said, "Take off your shoes, wear a cap, shower, and do not run." If you miss the do not, you might run and slip, which would be bad. Paying attention to negative instructions is just as important as positive ones. Words like don't, cannot, never, and prohibited act as red flags. They tell you to stop or avoid an action. Now, let us go back to our friends at the community center. Ethan, Sophie, and Liam have all finished their morning activities. They meet in the main hall for lunch. They are hungry, and they decide to go to the cafeteria together. The cafeteria has a self-service system, which means there are more instructions to follow. They walk up to the counter where the food is displayed. A server is there to guide them. The server says, "Hello, folks. Here is how it works. Grab a tray from the stack near the entrance. Pick up a plate, a bowl, and a set of cutlery. Move down the line. Start with the salads. Serve yourself whatever you like. Then move to the hot food section. Tell the chef what you want. He will serve you the main course. After that, go to the drinks station. Pour your own drink. Finally, proceed to the checkout counter to pay." Ethan picks up a tray. Sophie follows him. Liam is behind them. They move down the line. Sophie takes a salad. She likes vegetables. Ethan asks the chef for pasta. The chef puts a big scoop on his plate. Liam gets soup. They get their drinks. They go to the counter. But there is a problem. The cashier says, "Excuse me, sir, you forgot to get your cutlery. You need a fork and a spoon." Ethan looks at his tray. He was so hungry thinking about the pasta that he forgot the step about the cutlery. He laughs, goes back to the stack, and grabs a fork. This happens to everyone. We skip steps when we are hungry, tired, or distracted. It is normal. But in a test or a work situation, skipping a step can be a problem. So, how can we avoid missing steps? One tip is to silently repeat the instruction to yourself. When the server said, "Get a plate, a bowl, and cutlery," Ethan should have whispered to himself, "Plate, bowl, cutlery." Repeating the key words helps hold them in your short-term memory. Let us try a slightly more difficult exercise now. This time, we are going to focus on a medical context. Going to the doctor or a pharmacy can be stressful if you are not a native speaker. Understanding instructions about medicine is crucial. Imagine our friend Liam is not feeling well. He has a cough. He goes to the pharmacy. The pharmacist gives him some cough syrup and gives him advice. Listen to what the pharmacist says. He says, "Mr. Liam, take this bottle home. Shake it well before you use it. Pour 10 milliliters into the measuring cup. Drink it twice a day. Take it once in the morning after breakfast and once in the night before you go to sleep. Do not drive after you take this medicine because it might make you sleepy. Also, keep the bottle in the fridge. It tastes better cold. If you do not feel better after 3 days, come back to see me." There is a lot of specific information here. Dosage, frequency, storage, and side effects. 10 milliliters, twice a day, morning and night. Do not drive. Keep in fridge. 3 days. This is a lot of numbers and time words. When you listen to this kind of instruction, it is often okay to ask the person to speak slowly or to write it down. In an English exam, however, you have to listen and remember. So, practice listening for numbers. When you hear a number, write it down in your mind or on paper. Connect the number to the action. 10 milliliters connects to pour. Twice a day connects to drink. Morning and night are the times. Making these connections helps the information stick. We have covered many different situations today. We built a computer, made a vase, navigated a garden, cooked breakfast, followed pool rules, bought lunch, and took medicine. That is a lot of English practice. I hope you can see that following instructions is a skill you use every single day. To improve your B1 listening, you need to expose yourself to these kinds of conversations as much as possible. Listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos where people show you how to do things, like cooking channels or DIY channels. Even if you do not understand every single word, try to follow the main steps. Watch what their hands are doing. Connect the visual to the audio. Before we finish, I want to give you one final challenge. This is a complex set of instructions involving multiple steps and objects. I want you to close your eyes again and visualize everything perfectly. Imagine you are in your bedroom. It is morning. Your alarm goes off. Listen to your morning routine instructions. First, reach out and turn off the alarm. Sit up and stretch your arms high above your head. Stand up and walk to the window. Pull the curtains open to let the sunlight in. Turn around and make your bed. Smooth the blanket out and fluff the pillows. Walk to the bathroom. Turn on the tap. Splash cold water on your face to wake up. Pick up your toothbrush and put toothpaste on it. Brush your teeth in small circles for 2 minutes. Rinse your mouth with water and spit it out. Dry your face and hands with a towel. Go back to your room. Open your wardrobe. Choose a blue shirt and a pair of jeans. Put them on. Sit down and put on your socks and shoes. Tie the laces. Stand up, take your bag, and walk out the door. Did you manage to visualize that entire sequence? It started in bed, moved to the window, then the bed again, then the bathroom, back to the room, and finally out the door. It involved turning off an alarm, stretching, opening curtains, making a bed, washing your face, brushing teeth, getting dressed, and leaving. It is a routine we all know, but describing it in English requires a good vocabulary of daily verbs and nouns. If you could follow that without getting lost, your B1 listening skills are becoming very strong. You are processing sequences of actions smoothly. Remember, the key takeaways from today are: listen for sequence words like first, then, next, and finally. Listen for action verbs at the start of sentences. Listen for negative words like don't or never. Visualize the actions in your mind to create a mental picture. And do not be afraid to ask someone to repeat or speak slowly if you need to. Following instructions is about communication and cooperation. The person giving the instructions wants you to succeed, so they will be happy to help you understand. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here at English in Fluency. I loved creating these stories about Ethan, Sophie, and Liam for you. I hope their adventures in the workshop helped you learn how to listen better and understand steps clearly. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue improving your English, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson. We have many more exciting topics and practice sessions coming up for you. If you found this lesson helpful, please give it a thumbs up, as it really helps us reach more students around the world. Leave a comment below and tell me which part of the community center you liked best. Was it the technology room, the art studio, or the garden? I would love to hear from you. Keep practicing your listening every day. Stay curious and keep working towards your fluency goals. Until next time, this is Alex saying goodbye. Take care and see you in the next video.